She's not been this way yet, has she? I assume you're all waiting for Miss Vesta Tilley too. Or else are you here for those oily gymnasts? She was something else tonight, wasn't she? I know her, you know. Don't all swarm at once, but you want to be standing next to me when she comes out if you want your programme signing. Were any of you here the first time she came to Bolton? 1892? Do you remember? You're too young, perhaps. What about you, sir? Did you see Vesta Tilley last time? Oh, she was glorious then, she was. Listen, do me a favour and keep your eyes peeled, would you? If you forgot what she looks like, that's her there. Only she won't be in her trousers, obviously. She'll be all done up like a lady. Just keep your eyes on that door and scream your knickers off if there's any sign of her, all right? It was a Theatre Royal she were at last time. My brother was going, and I think maybe my mum had had enough of me, so she gave him an extra £2 bob and told him to take me along. And they were nice enough, but it was merely just dancers and comedians and the like. But then, she came out. You know what it feels like when you take one look at someone and you just know they're special? Well, lots of people probably feel that way about Vesta Tilley, I know. She's the people's idol, isn't she? The world's cleverest male impersonator. The excellent, the dashing, the exquisite Vesta Tilley, who has all the ladies, and some of the gents too, swooning when she gives them a bit of her Burlington Bertie. Oh, that's not a euphemism. It's just what one of the characters was called. Don't upset yourself. I tell you what, when she walked out on that stage, my heart flipped over like a fish. She was wearing a fine frock coat and a top hat would have been brushed till it shone. She walked like such a gent, that way she does. If you met her on the street and she tipped her hat to you, you think, what fine young man were that? Only there's something else. That's something that makes you look again. I'm following in father's footsteps, following the dear old dad. He's just in front with a fine big girl, so I thought I'd have one as well. I don't know where he's going, but when he gets there, I'll be glad. I'm following in father's footsteps, yes, I'm following the dear old dad. What was that? Oh, I thought you said she was asking for me. No? Not to worry, she'll be along soon. I wrote to her and told her I was coming. After I saw her that first time, I wasn't sure if I wanted to kiss her, or be like it, or just be liked by her. Does that make any sense? She turned me upside down and made me feel exactly like myself all at once. And I was part frightened and part embarrassed, but mostly I was excited, because whatever it was, this quality, it meant she and I were the same. Now, our Simon had a pal who worked at the Theatre Royal, and he reckoned after the show we should try and get ourselves an introduction. So I found myself actually standing in Vesta Tilley's dressing room. Little old me, in my free time let out frock, praying to God she doesn't notice I'm sweating like a horse. She's still in a costume, and the effect is different up close. Like you've been put in a spotlight just by looking at you. And she shook my hand, and she asked my name, and I thought I might just fall down dead right then. Well, good evening, how'd you do? Did you like the show tonight? Yes, thank you. And would you like a postcard? Oh, you've already got one. Splendid. Shall I autograph it for you? Oh, you're all right, my dear. You're sweating like a horse. After that night, I couldn't stop thinking about her. It was like she'd opened up a door in me and I'd gone inside a room I didn't know I had. Only it wasn't just a room, it was more grand and frightening than that. Like a palace, perhaps, or a cathedral. Now, I come from Bolton and we don't have cathedrals. But the more I explored this new part of myself, the more sure I was that I wanted to be like her. I didn't want to be an ordinary woman. with an ordinary husband doing ordinary things. I wanted to go on the stage. Has she come yet? No? It's getting on a bit. I've come here all 3 nights so far and waited, so I'm sure it must be tonight she comes. After that, Vesta and I, we were firm friends. Or we might as well have been. Thought about her 100 times a day. I thought about her when I told my mum I wouldn't marry that greengrocer, she'd be eyeing up for me. I thought about her when I told my friend Susan that I wished I were a man, so as I could be a sweetheart. She laughed at me and told me 2 women couldn't do that. Cried myself to sleep for 3 nights. But Vesta Tilley let me rest my head on her bosom while she stroked my hair. I wrote to her. I didn't think she'd really read it or remember me. But I come downstairs one morning and there's this great big parcel on the kitchen table with Mum standing over it. She'd already had the paper off it because no one gets to keep any secrets in our house. So I go, "Oh, who's this come for then?" And Mum goes, "Well, it's got your name on it. What's it doing opened up if it's come for me? Keep your hair on. It's a load of fine clothes for a man. Must have come for our Simon. Now look, there's a letter here. Give me that." Dear Miss Mort, thank you for your kind words of praise. As you were good enough to observe, I insist on the highest quality for my costumes, and in every item of dress, I wear no fakes. Of course, there are some people who mistake what I am for what I pretend to be, but I believe your admiration to be what it ought to be, that of an aspiring artist who wishes to follow in my footsteps. I am always willing to give a helping hand to those in the lower rungs of the ladder of fame, and so I wish to give you these garments, so that you might do the thing properly. They're only a little worn, and I have no more use for them. I enclose a signed photograph of myself and my dear husband, Lady de Frece. Perhaps you might put it beside the postcard you already have of me. Remember, when you look at them, that you can be both stage boy and married woman very well in one life, so long as you have the correct costume for each. Yours faithfully, Mrs. de Frece, or as you know her, Vesta Tilley. Get out of it, ma'am. It's private. Don't know what to think. With one hand, she gives me the best present I ever had in my life, and with the other. But then she had to sound respectable, didn't she? She's one of the most famous women in the country. If she liked women the way I did, or felt more at home in her breeches than a petticoat, she's not likely to give herself away. She might not have been telling me to take a husband like she did. She might as well have said to me, "Here you go, Gracie. I'll give you the clothes to dress like a man, so you'll never need to rely on one." These are the very things she sent for me. I kept them nice for her sake, though I can well afford my own get-up now. I wore them so she'd recognise me. Any sign of her yet? My friend Susan always said I thought too much of her. Said I was only setting myself up for disappointment. But still, it was her I thought about the first time I went out on stage, right here in Bolton, and I earned my very first shilling. I bought a bottle of beer and a cream bun, and I split both into 2, like she were across the table from me, and we were celebrating together. She's not coming, is she? I'm not simple. I know it wasn't really her who kept me company when I felt all alone in the world. It was a bit of me, really, in the shape of her. Susan caught me kissing Vesta Tilley's picture one night. The postcard, I mean, the one of her as a boy, where she looked just like that. Susan said I was soft in the head, but she wouldn't tell anyone else about it. She's too good a friend for that. I think I love my friend. I think I'll tell her.